Hello, yes, you at home. This is Commissioner of the NBA speaking to you, Adam Silver. Here's a message in courtesy of BenchMob in collaboration with the NBA Store. When BenchMob hits 1,000 subscribers, they'll be giving away a free NBA jersey to a lucky subscriber. So just do all the things listed on the screen. God damn it.
Okay, so with the recent news reported by Shams Charania, that's how you say it, yeah? Charania. The Pelicans, they're interested in trading for pick number 2 to 3 in an attempt to bring Scoot Henderson to the organization. And when you look at the recent news, we made a video on before with Zion Williamson, the whole drama he's been in, the controversy. Obviously, he played like 29 games last year. It does logically make sense how there would be a switch where in an alternate universe, Zion Williamson would end up at the Portland Trail Blazers. And when you look at the Blazers' fit, they've always kind of needed a wing, I guess, next to Dame, or a 3 to 4 guy who's a star. And they've said in this offseason their goal is to bring an elite wing. And when you look at the Pelicans, they have obviously Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson. It makes sense. So, yeah, how are you feeling about the potential fit for both parties?
I mean, I definitely see the fit. I see why the Pelicans are interested in that pick, because it's likely going to be Scoot Henderson. And, you know, they could use a point guard of that nature to really change their franchise. They've already got guys, obviously, they do have a Zion, which would be involved in this trade, but you've got guys like Brandon Ingram, who are already elite wings, who, you know, have that all-star potential, all-NBA potential. But I think they've always lacked, of recent years, that elite guard, that elite point guard, shooting guard that can really, you know, possibly change the face of their franchise. So if they can land this particular trade, then getting Scoot Henderson will definitely help move their franchise in the right direction. Again, you might say, well, how can you give up a guy like Zion? But realistically, if you're not on the court, then to me that doesn't mean anything how good of a player you are, how good of a talent you are, especially, you know, with the kind of body that he does have. If he doesn't work on it, if he doesn't, you know, do the necessary work to get his body in the right shape, then personally speaking, he's of, you know, teams don't see any value in him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean,
it's definitely derailed. Like, his value has declined, and it's because he's not playing. And you're right. Doesn't take enough care of his body, and it's just like he might not be that generational player that everyone almost viewed him to be before he entered the league. Maybe it's just not made to be.
Yeah. Maybe he just needs to get out of New Orleans. Maybe he needs a fresh start. I don't know. But personally speaking, yeah, I would take him out of that whole situation, put him into a fresh start. And I don't know whether just the number 3 pick alone would be enough.
Yeah.
I know his value's gone down, but I still think the Pelicans wouldn't just want the number 3 pick, obviously that being Scoot Henderson in this case, for the trade involving Zion. I think they'd need something else in return to really...
Simons,
Jabari
Walker, something like Nas Little?
Nas Little, maybe, yeah. It's just like an extra piece, maybe a Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah, that would be handy.
Just somebody that, you know, the Pelicans could utilize, whether it's to then offset for another trade or alternatively just have that extra roster space or depth on their roster that they might need going forward. But yeah, I think it makes sense to fit with Zion and the Blazers. Again, small market team. Pelicans aren't the biggest market, so it's not like he's going to somewhere where it's either a lesser market or, you know, a larger market. So it's probably the perfect fit. It's you know, it sort of makes sense on that side of things. And on top of it, when you've got a guy like Zion paired alongside Damian Lillard,
a true veteran.
True veteran.
Like, I know he played a bit with CJ, but not many games. Like, get a guy like Dame. Zion's never really played with a guy like. Zion's never really played with a guy like Dame. So, who's been in the league and worked for everything. Obviously, Zion would be one of the all-time greats if he had the mindset of a guy like Dame. But yeah, that could be the perfect pairing, and I'd love to see it.
Well, they could also, like I said, complement one another. You know, Zion having that explosive game when he is healthy, you know, it just probably makes the court even more spacious for Dame, especially along the perimeter when they know, and pick and roll when they know they can't just leave Zion open in the paint, because his paint scoring ability and his percentages when he gets in that painted area, it's arguably the best in the league, especially when he's fit and firing. So that's only going to help benefit Dame even more than it currently does.
Yeah.
And again, Zion could use a guy like Dame, who's been in the league for a number of years, like you said, worked hard for every single year that he's been in the league, improved every single year, knows the hard work it takes. He's a 4-year player in college, was probably a bit of an underdog coming into the league or coming into college, so he knows that grind, that work ethic that's needed to really become the best player, rather than it just being handed to you. So like I said, that could go hand in hand with one another. Whether either team bites the bullet on this, and like I said, whether other pieces are needed, that's another question altogether. But we'll just have to wait and see. Draft night's approaching, so there are going to be, teams are going to swing for the fences.
A lot of moves are going to be made.
Yeah, a lot of moves will be made, and draft positions will definitely be switched around. So it's going to not only change the face of certain franchises, but change the face of and the outlook of the entire draft. So it'll be interesting, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I definitely think it wouldn't be the worst move for either team to, you get Scoot, a potential generational point guard, go to the Pelicans. Zion gets a fresh start alongside a veteran in Dame.
I think it's the perfect fit, to be honest, for both parties. I think Dame gets what he wants in a co-superstar, and the Blazers get what they want in a wing, which they haven't had, and they targeted, they put it out there. They want an elite wing. Ingram, Zion are both there, and the Pelicans. It's not even that. The Pelicans reached out and said, we're interested in a guy like Scoot, who can be a point guard and be, I guess, that vocal leader. And you mentioned in previous videos they drafted Dyson Daniels, and how you think he's a great player, I think you said, but he's not the most vocal. And Scoot's probably a guy who comes into the league and straight away, he brings that veteran presence where not many rookies can really do that. So it would be huge for both organizations. And to be honest, I think it's personally a win-win. Like, maybe Scoot's not great, but I think he's a boom or boom player. I don't think he can really bust. So I really like the fit for both sides.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only question is, is the curse going to continue for the Trailblazers? We obviously did a what-if video the other day about obviously all the injury problems they had with Brandon Roy, Greg Oden, even LaMarcus Aldridge, and are the Blazers really going to be willing to take a risk on a guy who's hardly played? And especially, obviously, it might be different front office personnel that are in that front office at the moment with the Trailblazers instead of when it was around the time when Brandon Roy and company were there. But at the same time, I don't think the Trailblazers would be really willing to take him on unless they're certain that he can really stay healthy in the long run, because the last thing they want is to give up a potential generational or star player in a guy like Scoot Henderson, or even if Brandon Miller falls down to that particular pick. And even though you can get Zion in return, how many games are you going to get Zion for? That's a big question mark. So that's the only thing that I can see that the Trailblazers may be reluctant to obviously make the move based off those particular circumstances and the previous history with injuries affecting their top talent.
It's a real tough one, because it's like the Blazers, you can look at it as a win-win for both sides. Like, they draft Scoot, Dame probably moves on, but you got Scoot with Simon Sharp. You got a great young core to work with. But then at the same time, you take the Zion route, you got Zion, Dame, and you could potentially compete for a championship. But then it's like, there's negatives to both. You go the young way, you lose your franchise GOAT, but then you go with Zion and you get a guy who obviously could be a generational great, but he hasn't been healthy, and that's what you've been missing with, like you said, Brandon Roy, Greg Oden, even LaMarcus Aldridge to an extent. It's like such a I guess, unlucky franchise, and I wish them all the best, and I couldn't even tell you what the best decision here is for them, because nobody really knows, but praying on the Blazers.
Yeah, definitely. One last thing I want to add regarding that is, if they do make the move for Zion and, it doesn't go well, let's say hypothetically, he doesn't stay healthy, at the end of the day, like you said, you're swinging for the fences. You could possibly win a championship if all plays out the right way, if all the pieces come together. If it doesn't work out and Dame decides to leave, and you don't get a healthy Zion, at the end of the day, you're back to square one. You're possibly thinking about doing a rebuild. Yeah, it might have set you back a little bit because you might not have secured that.
All in, yeah.
Yeah, you either go all in
or you don't go at
all. Or you don't go at all, because being in that middle tier, like I said previously, it is tough, because I'm a Wizards fan. We've done it for a number of years, and now I'm actually glad that we are deciding to possibly look at moving on Bradley Beal. As much as I love Bradley Beal, he's one of my favourite players growing up.
Yeah.
I think when you pay a guy $50 million a year, it's hard to then build a competitive team around that.
Yeah.
Once you got one guy who's got so much money locked in, especially with this new CBA that's coming into play, it's tough to really, just compete and be in that playoff bubble without doing any or making any noise or creating any damage in that come playoff time. So I think it's either all in or don't rebuild at all. That's how I look at it. So
I agree.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait to see how it plays out. But any Blazers fans out there, let us know what you think of this move. Would you want this to happen? Pelicans fans, would you want a guy like Scoot Henderson or the number 3, or I should say the number 3 pick, whoever that ends up being given to you guys to possibly fast track your aspirations to win a championship as well? So let us know what you guys think, and we'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe to the Bench Mob. We've got a 1,000 sub giveaway coming up.
Yeah, get on it. Sub. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? You at home, I know you're watching this video. Leave a sub.
Yeah, but that's all we have time for in this video, guys. So it's been a pleasure, and from your boy Danko,
it's been Marcus.
Peace out.
Alright guys, take care.